What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Suicide Squad film, kind of just give my impressions of it, talk about if this film can actually pull it off. Now, look, you probably, you've been following my channel for any period of time. You probably know I cover a lot of video games, right? Video games is the primary thing on this channel, but I love talking about movies, too. There just happens to have not been very many movies over the past several months, right, because of the stuff that's happened around the world, but that definitely is going to start being picked up, actually, right around now. So let's talk about this. There's not a whole lot to go off of, and honestly, me as a person, maybe something to be very transparent about, right, is that I'm not a big comic guy. I don't really read them. I don't know about the backstory of all this kind of stuff. So when I look at this Suicide Squad movie and I hear all of these characters, okay, literally all these actors that are very, by the way, high profile, right, actors, actresses that are all very, very good, and I hear all of these names, who they are in this movie, I mean, I am just I just don't know who they are. You know what I mean? And so I'm really going into this movie with about as open of expectations as humanly possible. I like James Gunn's work in terms of, what he's made in Hollywood. I think he's a pretty darn solid director. I do believe he is probably one of the best, if not the best choices for a movie like this. I don't think you hear everybody say like he is the best choice. I mean, we could probably come up with other people, but he's a very good candidate. What we saw from that behind the scenes stuff, which by the way, I don't show trailers, I don't show videos for things movies related because that just gets way too messy with YouTube's, all their stuff. So I just show pictures. But look, that behind-the-scenes stuff, I was expecting a teaser trailer. I could argue that behind-the-scenes stuff was even better. The stuff we got from the behind-the-scenes, the kind of like concept pictures or even like the real pictures of them in their suits when they were introducing the cast, I mean, all of those looked outrageously cool. So again, while I don't know about the backstory, I honestly don't know, I would say more than half of the characters that were announced, okay, that these, that Nathan Fillion is and all these different characters, I mean, all of them, like John Cena, I don't know who any of them are, okay? But at the same time, let me tell you, that little, sneak peek behind the scenes thing looked absolutely incredible. Like, it looked really, they talked about it. They're trying to make it a fun movie, lots of action, heart where it's needed, right? Emotion where it's needed, but also funny. I think this movie absolutely has what it takes. Now, the question is, right, can it pull it off? Now, I think a film like this, it's going to be a little difficult because you do have so many different people, okay? It's kind of the problem that sometimes, like, the Justice League or the Avengers or sometimes a game with multiple characters or a movie with multiple big names is not all of them are going to be able to share the screen. And honestly, with a movie like this, I mean, there are so many characters. There's so many high-profile, again, like celebrities. They're not all going to get equal screen time. They also said, right, don't get, connected to them too much because some of them are going to be eliminated, throughout the movie. So that's the thing to remember too. Like, they are not going to, just because you like a character doesn't mean that they're safe. Okay. And I do like that, by the way. I do like that. I think that's a very bold thing to do. I think for a movie like this, it's also kind of necessary. But man, I was honestly shocked with how good it looked. I mean, yes, it was a lot of explosions. It was just showing the characters basically in their suits. A lot of like just, you see them, they don't have the CG behind them, right? It's not actually, fully made for screens, made for theaters yet. But again, I think it has everything it needs. I think it's got the proper amount of it looks like there's definitely going to be some action. These characters, again, while I don't know much about their backstory and stuff like that, or like, you could look at like a Harley, right? I think Margot Robbie's always done a really good job. Her character, how they've dressed her up, the different costumes, just look honestly outrageously good. And then the same goes for more than just her, but I think she's honestly a really good example of it. They did a fantastic, so far, what it looks like, right? These guys did a fantastic job on all of it. So I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm going to see this movie day one. I think I always was. It's just, again, with so many characters, sometimes it can get a little bit messy. Maybe the story gets a little bit messy. But at the same time, again, James Gunn, in terms of directing, in terms of doing something like this, I do trust the guy. I think he's a pretty good candidate for the job. So again, the Suicide Squad movie that came out several years ago was not good. I was actually in the camp when it first came out of that I liked it, and then the more I saw it, the more I was like, no, it continues to not look so great. I was like part of that, and I don't think it's like the worst movie ever made, ever created in its entire life. But I do think the movie has so many different flaws. For this movie, ever since they announced it, a lot of people would say like, why would you make a Suicide Squad 2? The title, by the way, is still kind of confusing. Like stuff, like, like why can't you just let it go? Why are you bringing back some of the same characters but replacing others? Like, there are definitely weird stuff about it. There's definitely weird stuff, and not all of it is like perfect. And again, I'm not even on board with all of it, but even since the beginning when they announced this thing, and that's kind of just my personality, as you maybe have seen on the channel. I'm willing to give it a chance, right? I'm willing to give all the games, movies, all this kind of stuff. I'm really willing to give it a chance. So I think this movie can be really good. I honestly feel like this can be a very special kind of superhero slash, like literally just a superhero movie, like Marvel, DC, any of them. I really feel like this can be something really, really cool. And honestly, with the characters, with literally not even just like with the characters, who they are, right? The Suicide Squad. I feel like this can just be so different and so unique and so good, kind of in its own way. You know what I mean? It's hard to kind of put into words, but I think I'm speaking for myself. I'm very, very pumped for this film, and I do think they'll be able to pull it off. Here's hoping, right? So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Are you excited for this film? Did yesterday's DC Fandom stuff, amp you up? Are you more excited to see it now than you were? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And like I said, I love covering movies. I love covering games. As all of these movies get closer, whether it's Snyder's Justice League or this movie or the Batman movie, all that stuff, I will absolutely be having videos on all of them, okay? Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.